this episode of kpopRC, we build a... Oh my god, it's upside down. In this episode of kpopRC, we build a WPL kit. If you're looking for a cheap kit to build with like your kid, or like if you just sort of don't want to spend a lot of money on kits and you want to like kind of have a cool scale crawler, then WPL's where to go. If you get their kit version, it comes with a bigger motor, softer tires, and overall it's a pretty fun experience building this stuff. So on this episode, we build the B24 KIT, and it's like this like military kind of off-road vehicle, and it should be pretty cool. It looks scale as so I'm kind of super excited about it. I thought I'd spend a day making a quick video. I can't do the strictly drifting videos because we're in lockdown, so I figure I may as well try to pump something out quick in between episodes of the larger projects, and this is one of them. So if you want to check it out, go to WPL-RC.com and pick yourself up one of these kits. They don't break the bank. It's pretty cheap and it's fun to build, and you know, even if it just lives on your shelf, that's pretty sweet. Or you can take it out, or you can do what the whole community on Facebook is doing, which is upgrading the out of these things and making them super capable. I'm not that they aren't capable out of the box, but they are 1/24 scale, so they are smaller. They don't necessarily crawl to all the places a 1/10 scale RC will crawl, but man, are they cool. And also I've got a sound kit for them, so we're gonna test out the audio system on this thing. And yeah, let's get to it. I gotta build the axle, so let's build some axles. So this is the all metal kit, so it comes with like different axles, comes with like a softer copper gears, which I'm assuming bed quicker. Awesome. So, oh man. Step 2. All right, wicked. So, I just built these. They were pretty tough actually to build because you have to really watch your alignment with these axles, because if you don't, they will bind. So you kind of have to follow. I've left a link in the description for EDWARDRC Car's YouTube channel. He has a tutorial on how to get these metal axles put together properly. You gotta kind of follow his exact order.
Do not be lazy.
Of how he puts these together, because if you don't, not only will you have slop side to side, which I can see damaging the copper gear set in here, or brass gear set in here, but he did use his RC car to break in these, and I just use a Dremel. He said not to use a drill, but I'm not using a drill. A Dremel is doesn't have any gearing, right? It just goes right into the motor. So if anything binds really hard with on the low RPM with the Dremel, it'll just stop and buzz it. So I just use the Dremel to sort of iron out the gears, and the front moves really smoothly. I got the front very well. The back, unfortunately, one of the brass gears has a bit of a wobble to it, which is making it very difficult to you know, to sort of align. I find the only problem though is when I try to spin the wheel as opposed to spin the axle, or spin the drive shaft, which is where all the torque comes from when you're actually driving. So I'm hoping this will be okay, and I'm assuming that over time these will break in even more, and they'll get a little bit. They'll just they'll just play nicely, you know. They'll just play nicely together. All right, wicked. So these are done. Let's move on to the next step. What am I gonna do next? Damn instructions. Okay. Ooh. Okay, wicked. All right, so I'm gonna put together the steering and the axle, and then I'm gonna put the leaf springs, because this is a leaf spring kit. I'm gonna put the leaf springs on, which is super cool. That's gonna be the next step. Huge, super fun. What a good way to spend my Saturday in quarantine. Ooh. Alright, sweet. So I got the axles done. Alright, so the steering is done, the leaf springs are in, the axles, or the drive shafts are basically half in, the half that, you know, the telescoping half that attaches to the actual drive shaft, that is in. So you know, sweet. So I can put these aside, and I can start on the long chassis for this truck. So I guess the transmission goes in here with the mounting points for the leaf spring suspension, and all of the mounts for the cab, and all the electronics have to go on here. So that's next. So let's get to it. Take the servo, the one that has the WPL logo, and one of the ears fits right there. It's a pressure fit, pretty much. Then what you gotta do is you gotta run this cable all the way over here. This might be totally wrong. I might have to redo this. So that's gonna go. I'm not gonna screw it in yet, because I don't know if this is centered, so I'm not gonna screw it in. I don't think I've sweared at a RC build as much as I have this one. But would I buy it again? Yeah. Yeah, it's a good kind of swearing. It's the kind of swearing that makes your brain hurt. And then you realize that you're just not like thinking about it. But it's definitely not something to do quickly. You really need to take your time with this. But anyway, here you can see I put the axles on the chassis. So the chassis is here. The 2-speed motor transmission is there. Metal axles, the metal drive shafts, they're all in place. The steering is kind of getting there. I don't want to attach the servo horn yet because I don't know if the servo is centered. So I'm going to wait until all the electronics are in order to do that. But man, it's a fun build. I mean, it's a pain in the ass because you don't know what screws to use. The instructions don't really tell you much. They don't even show you how the servo really goes in. So hopefully the video I make makes that easy for you guys, because it was kind of a brain scratch for me. Anyway, the transmission isn't screwed in yet because I believe the fuel tanks screw it into the chassis, and obviously I have to do the cab and also the spare tire and the rear section too. So it's gonna be super cool. Yeah, all in all, it's going well. I just was trying to get this done in one day, but it's like 12 o'clock, so I'm gonna end up finishing it tomorrow. I wanted to work on the sound kit for Neighbor tomorrow, but kind of want to finish this just to put it on the shelf and forget about it and drool over it every once in a while. But yeah, let's get to it. Let's keep going. Alright, so I got the model where I want it. It's still in pieces, but I got most of the major components together. It's still sort of half done. I still have to screw in the transmission, and I put off the whole body on, but before I do that, I split the cab and the interior, and I'm going to definitely do a Adam Savage tested just weathering job on this. These are Russian trucks. I believe they are the GAZ-66s, the GAZ-66, and they are like Soviet era like military truck, and they did use these in Chernobyl for the massive cleanup after that nuclear disaster, and so I kind of wanted to go kind of rusty with this thing and give it sort of nice patina, and like maybe get some copper color in here if I have it, only if I have the color. So I'm definitely gonna hit this with some matte Tamiya matte black mixed with some rubbing alcohol and a little bit of water, and just to get black into all of these nooks and crannies. This is just a injection molded green, so it has a very flat color, and it has all these like wicked details in the body that are just kind of like lost because because it's all one flat color. So if we fill it in here with black, it'll look so good. So I want to do that. Yes! Okay, I really didn't plan what I was gonna say, which is funny. Wicked. Okay, so I freaking did some cool shit, right? What I did was I did the strategy, Adam Savage's strategy for weathering, which is an acrylic. Well, I guess it isn't only Adam Savage's way, but I found it on Tested. What you do is you take a matte black Tamiya acrylic paint, and you dilute it with rubbing alcohol. And you use that and you paint this whole thing, just like wash it so it fills in all these cracks with this kind of like oily, like black sort of like wash. And if you put too much, you can wipe it off with vinegar on some paper towel, or not vinegar, with rubbing alcohol on paper towel, or even before it dries, you can kind of dab it. Then I did the same kind of thing with sort of a red, yellow, and green kind of wash. I can't remember what colors. Red, yellow, and green, I think. Wash. It was kind of like this orangey color. It was like a muted color, and I used a lot of rubbing alcohol to sort of give it sort of a pale, like a thin quality. And I made sure to keep my brush strokes vertical with the gravity, so like as if the whatever I was painting on was flowing down the body, not side to side. Side to side is not how this stuff is going to deposit over time. So you want to make sure you're going with the gravity, and anywhere where there is like sort of like I don't know, dents in the body or some kind of body features, I would carry a little bit of that rust as if it was dripping down the body. And I think it turned out pretty well. I made it look really oily and really dirty. The funny thing about the Gaz 66 though is all of the photos that I found, all the like super old photos, well, not even old photos, but like recent photos of these trucks. Like these trucks are from like the 70s. None of them really have that much rust on them, which I think is kind of funny. So I kind of rusted this more than I'd actually really see on one. I don't know, I mean, maybe that's a testament to Russian, you know, quality and thickness of their bodywork or the paint they use, whatever. But like, my God, those things seem to last forever. It'd be so cool to have a real one. Anyway, so after I painted everything, I mounted the bed, which I'm probably gonna have to remove again because I haven't adjusted the 2-speed transmission, the servo. I have to screw the servo horn onto the servo. I just don't know if the servo is centered because I haven't turned it on yet. Same with the steering. I haven't screwed the steering in yet because I just don't know if that servo is centered, and I want to make sure it's centered. The radio it comes with does not really have any sort of like adjustments for the midpoint, so I got to make sure that it's like right. Also, I added in the electronics. This is one of the other boards that can control the 2 speeds. It also has a sound kit. There is a speaker attached to it. I am going to glue the speaker two-sided tape the speaker right under the bed here. So I'm not going to do it just yet because I got to like adjust the 2-speed. Once I adjust the 2-speed and I put this thing on permanently, that's when I'm going to that's when I'm going to double-side tape the speaker right where the exhaust would be in real life, so at least the sound is kind of coming from a like a, you know, logical place.
This cover's not in the instructions, but I assume that's what it's for, so yay.
got a whole bunch. I got 2 of these Beta FPV3S batteries. These are 450 milliamp hour batteries. They will not last quite as long as like a 5,000 or 4,000 milliamp hour battery for sure, but I don't know how much power this thing's really gonna suck, and I don't particularly want a huge battery in the back here. So I think these are gonna do. I have 2 of them, so that should probably provide enough runtime, plus they're really small. And when I tuck them in here into the bed, they seem to fit pretty well. I used a step drill to drill a hole in the bed so I could get the wire for the battery for the like main board to stick out there, which I think is like a good option. It's a good idea not to put the battery underneath the cab because there's just no room. Yeah, it also has lights. There's provisions for backup light, like brake lights and turning signals, and I might end up, you know, making the 3 lights in here LEDs. I'm not sure. That's probably for a future project because I just want to get this thing done. Oh, of course. And of course, I gave it drivers. What's cool about this build is that it reminds me of like all of the Chernobyl documentaries that I had watched for like ever. I was so fascinated with the Chernobyl disaster. I was 3 years old in Poland when everybody was forced to drink iodine when this happened in 1986, and you know, as a teen, I'd always just read about it. I thought it was like not the coolest thing, but just like a super interesting thing that happened to humanity. Like, it's like the worst nuclear disaster. I mean, we don't really hear much about Fukushima. I'm sure it's just as bad, but the Japanese are quite tight-lipped about what's going on over there. Whereas with Chernobyl, it's like very much a European problem, and it seems like a lot of countries came together to sort of try to clean up that mess. Anyway, the GAZ-66 was used for that era. I don't know how many of them helped clean up the Chernobyl or the Pripyat city and the Chernobyl reactor area, but it's like period correct, so I thought that's cool. So I gave it two passengers, 1 driver and a passenger, and of course I had to find liquidator STLs, like 3-dimensional models of dudes in gas masks and that like shiny green sort of raincoat material that they all wore, and I gave them some drivers, and man, are they ever freaking creepy. Like this, they just make this whole build. They are creepy as hell. I ended up cutting the seats out of the body in here just to fit these guys because I feel like they are the correct scale. And if I go any smaller, they're just gonna look too tiny. Like, there's no way that this truck is that big. So yeah, you can see here. Here's another one. So you can see like super small, a little bit bigger, and perfect. But the seats were too high, so I had to kind of cut them out. So the last thing I have to do is kind of cover the holes where I cut out so you can't see through the body when you're looking at the cab. And man, I think she's done. Like, now I'm like waiting for that perfect snowstorm where it's like a centimeter or like a ½ inch or a quarter inch of snow just kind of blankets the whole area, and then this guy's gonna go for its like maiden voyage, which I will shoot later. I still have to put these windshields in, which I will do. You'll probably see that happening right now on the B-roll. And man, yeah, I don't know what else I'm gonna do to it. I don't think I'm gonna do anything else to it. I think it's ready to go, because if I do any more to it, I'm just gonna spend way more time on it. I gotta get to the Porsche, and I gotta get to the sound system for the Cletus build. The Cletus build is slowing down because it's like winter, And the minute I finish it is the minute I want to like definitely go and take it to burn it out. But like right now it's too cold. So you know, it's just gonna be slowly. I'll probably have one of those episodes in a couple of weeks, and the Porsche episode's gonna happen before that, because like I gotta cut that body out and like play with that thing, man. That thing's freaking sick, and it's a lot of work because it's so huge. And of course my studio is just as freaking messy as it was pre-Porsche, so I'm gonna have to go through and clean all this. And I'm working, we're starting to ramp up work right now for the Junos, which is gonna be stressful as well. So man, I'm gonna try to keep pumping out consistent videos. But don't forget, I am always going to be live on Tuesdays, so I will have like updates of all the projects on Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to come and hang out, come hang out. If you use this hashtag #ScaleIs on Instagram, you'll probably get a shout out on the live streams. What else? Man, I don't know. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this dude. And don't be whining about not seeing Cletus builds or Porsche builds right now. I gotta keep this channel a little fresh every once in a while. I gotta be like moving into other projects. Is like quite sick. It just feels like a tough build, and like it feels more rewarding than most, which is interesting to me. Anyway, wicked. Don't forget to sub up to this channel. Leave me a comment below about what you think about this. I don't think I'm giving away seats. I gotta print more seats. Actually, no seats this video. Sorry, dudes. Sorry, dudes, no seats this episode. But if you want to be considered to win a pair of Recaro seats, don't forget to leave me comments below. Come and hang on live chats. Make yourself known to me. You know, give me cool advice or cool links on Instagram. I don't know, but like, be present in the community, and you will get a pair of seats. I promise. Yes. So stay tuned for the Porsche project. Stay tuned for the conclusion of the Cletus build. It's like 2 or 3 episodes away, the Cletus build. And yeah, if you want to see cool projects, cool scaleless projects, then of course hit that frickin' bell or whatever. Also, if you want to help the channel out, don't forget to go to kpopRC.com and pick up yourself some swag. There's a few new t-shirts in there. And for you Americans that can deal with cheap shipping, you lucky bastards, it's like $2.99 to ship a shirt in the continental USA, you bastards. It's like $13 for us Canadians and like $13 for those Europeans. So, I mean, if you really want to support the channel, do it. I will try to figure something out for us Canadians and Americans. Maybe I'm gonna have to actually get some stock, which I'm not looking forward to because I don't really want to deal with like shipping out stock, but it might end up having to happen because man, that shipping is expensive to anybody but continental United States. Funny, Canada's on the same continent, but I guess it crosses a border, it's gonna cost $13. Alright, wow, that's a lot of talking. It's like 14 minutes of talking. I'm gonna shut my mouth. Anyway, have a good day. Stay safe. Remember, everyone's pissed off. It's a shitty time. So, I don't know, be kind to everybody if you can. It's super hard to find. But, patience. It's better times. times are coming for sure. So wicked. Have a good one. Cheers.